Algebra 2, Lesson 81, Complex Numbers. I'm not going to use this video to talk about the number I or how complex numbers relate to real numbers. We'll do most of that in class or during a lab on Friday. This video will focus on how to simplify complex numbers and real numbers. We should remember that the number I is equal to the square root of -1. And the problems we're mostly going to be dealing with are these. When we have a complex number being divided by another complex number, and how to rationalize that, because we know we can't have radicals in the denominator, and then we can't have imaginary numbers in the denominator either. That's just right out. Cannot be. So we're going to learn how to simplify expressions like this, and it's not a new method. It's something that we've used before. It is multiplying by the conjugate. So when I have 4 minus 2i over 2i minus 3, all we have to do is use the conjugate of the denominator. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply by 2i plus 3 on the numerator and the denominator, essentially a value of 1. So what happens here is when I get 2i times 2i, that gives me 2i squared. We'll simplify that on another step, and then 2i times positive 3 gives me positive 6i. Here, I go to the inside, negative 3 times 2i gives me negative 6i. Those cancel. Great. Negative 3 times positive 3 gives me plus 9. Now, as for this 2i squared, I squared, we know, well, I is equal to the square root of -1, and we know that any root times itself just equals that number. So 2i squared becomes 2 times -1, which is just -2. So we have -2 plus 9, which gives us a denominator of 7. Now, that is just our denominator. We still have to multiply the numerator. So let's go back up top here. 4 times 2i is going to give me 8i. 4 times positive 3 is going to give me plus 12. Negative 2 times 2i is going to give me negative 4i squared. And then negative 2i times 3 gives me negative 6i. From here, I'm going to simplify and combine like terms. We already learned that I squared is just equal to -1. Negative 4 times -1 is positive 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. Now let's add the i's. 8i minus 6i is just minus 2i. Now that goes over our denominator of 7. Now to write our final answer, when we're dealing with these imaginary numbers, remember we want to go from most certainty to least certainty. However, this entire number is uncertain. So what we do is we split the certain number, or the whole number, away from the imaginary number. And we're going to write it as two fractions. So we'll write it as 16 over 7 minus 2i over 7. And that gives us a better answer that we can work with in the future. So remember, when you write your final answers, don't write them over one denominator, write them over two. That's really it for this lesson. Let me see here. No, that's it. Yeah, that's all we're doing here. So remember, I is equal to the square root of -1, and yeah. Wow, that's weird. It's been a while since we've had a video under 5 minutes. Well, have a good day. If you have any questions, let me know on Moodle, and I will talk to you. I'll see you in class.